Ladies and gentlemen, it is JP the Outlaw here to give you my review for July 24th, 2014. They start off the show with Kurt Angle, and he's highlighting the fact that Jason Jordan is his son. And he's also telling us that he's giving Jason an opportunity to show his skills in the ring against an opponent later in the night. Then he goes on to speak on the number one contender match that was interrupted by Braun Strowman last Monday. With interrupting that number one contender match, it seems as though Kurt Angle was going to give the number one contendership to Braun Strowman. Now, I feel as though that would have been a bad move. It's not that I don't think Braun could carry a match with Brock Lesnar. I think it would be one-sided. I think Braun Strowman has proven himself to be inside of the main event. But I think more than likely, everybody knows that he's going to walk out with the win, talking about Brock Lesnar. So as soon as Kurt Angle was about to make his announcement on who will be the new number one contender to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, out comes Braun with his music. Braun's music hits. Out comes Braun. He goes down to the ring. Being the only person that won at Great Balls of Fire, he's not only demanding a title shot against Brock Lesnar, he would do physical harm to Kurt Angle if he did not get that title shot. Out comes Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe said, "I don't fear the beast. I'm the only one that came within seconds of beating him in recent date." Then out comes Roman Reigns. Of course, Roman makes a statement that, of course, Braun hasn't been here long enough and Joe's only been here for a hiccup. He goes over his accolades and what he's done as far as being in the WWE for the past 5 years. Out of this, Kurt Angle decides to make it a fatal four-way match, which we all knew that's where we were going. A super brawl breaks out. And just to give you a little detail on what happens with the super brawl, Kurt says, "We're done here." He goes and leaves out of the ring. Joe is like fucking screaming at the top of his lungs, "We're not done here. We need to finish having this conversation. It should be a one-on-one match between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. All these extra people does not need to be included." Kurt responds to that with, "We're done. I'm walking away. It's over. I've made my decision." Instantly, a brawl breaks out between Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman. Joe and Roman beat Braun Strowman up on the outside, throw him over a turnbuckle. Joe then turns on Roman Reigns, punches Roman right in the fucking face. These two brawl back into the ring. They call out security. The security guards gets demolished by Braun Strowman, who comes back into the ring. He hits one guy with a boot, and he throws everybody else over the top rope. The one guy he threw over the fucking rope looked like he landed wrong. It looked like he landed wrong. Seriously. He took a nasty bump. It looked like he caught most of that impact on his shoulder. That causes them to... Kurt Angle calls for the wrestlers on the Raw roster to come out to try to break up this mayhem. Now, at this point, it's Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman in the middle of the ring. Joe has the coquina clutch locked onto Braun Strowman. Out comes Roman Reigns. He spears Braun Strowman and Joe. After Braun has worked his way into the corner trying to get Joe off of his back, in comes Roman, spears both of them guys. Everybody falls down. And, this was pretty much a good segment. I feel as though that they could have did more with this. I feel as though they're overusing the Super Brawl segment. They did it once with Goldberg, which we haven't seen in a while. Then they turned around and did it with Joe and Brock Lesnar. And then now Joe, Roman, and Braun. I think that the Super Brawl angle should only be used for mega matches. I'm talking about big marquee matches that these guys are going to go over. I don't mind it being all centered around the Universal Championship. I just believe that they could have sold this a little different, especially with 2 weeks going into SummerSlam. You want to build towards that pay-per-view. That I understand. But I think this would have been a better segment leading into SummerSlam, because not Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar has to be at the go-home show for SummerSlam. So I would have waited. I would have had Brock involved in this some type of way. And again, I would have had more people of the roster. So real curious to see what they're going to do next week as far as the Universal Championship picture goes. Next match is the no disqualification between Finn Balor and Elias Sampson. Elias Sampson comes out and cuts a lovely singing promo. And I think Finn Balor is not a fan of Elias Sampson's songs. Out comes Finn Balor. Finn Balor has taped himself up due to a lot of injury reports for Finn Balor over the past weekend. He had got injured in a dark match, which causes them to wrap his left shoulder up. The same left shoulder that was injured from Seth Rollins way back at last year's SummerSlam. So he's all taped up. Great match between him and Elias Sampson. Finn Balor was mostly in control. Out comes Bray Wyatt. His music hits. Bray Wyatt attacks Finn Balor with Sister Abigail, which causes Elias Sampson to come in with a quick roll-up. He gets the win. 1, 2, 3. Meanwhile, while that's all happening, you have Bray Wyatt in the corner hitting the tarantula off the ropes like he normally does off the turnbuckle. And he crawls all the way over to Finn Balor, and he tells Finn Balor that he wants you to reach inside yourself and bring out everything you can bring out to go up against me. Now, this is alluding to Finn Balor's demon persona. We've only seen it once since moved up to the main roster. I think if they're going to bring back the demon persona, you need to put the title on Finn. If that's how you're going to do it. I don't mind them going up against Bray Wyatt. I like Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor for SummerSlam. It gives both men something to do if you're not going to put the title on either man. Well, that brings us to a video package from last week between Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. Kurt Angle, of course, finding out Jason Jordan is his son, and they just highlighted the interview that went on off the air on the WWE Network. We come back off that video package to a backstage segment with Kurt Angle and Emma. Emma wants her TV time, which is basically an opportunity to be inside the women's division for the Women's Revolution. With that being said, she also made a statement that, well, maybe I have to start dating Jason Jordan to get my opportunity. Kurt did not take kindly to this. He makes a match with Nia Jax, and that will be later tonight. Nia Jax and Emma. Moving on into our next match, Enzo versus Big Cass. Now, there was a backstage segment with Big Cass and the Big Show, Big Show and Enzo. And Big Show's telling him he doesn't have to do this. Big Cass is a little unhinged. And you want to move past this because obviously you don't have to win Enzo. Enzo, I believe, is maybe 5'11" or 6 feet tall, or maybe even 6 feet 1. I don't know. But Big Show is trying to negotiate with him taking this match. Of course, Enzo says this is something I got to do. He goes out to the ring. Big Cass comes out. Of course, their match was a quick match. Big Cass picks up the victory. Now, most of this story is told after the match. Of course, out comes the Big Show to help out Enzo and Moray. Big Show gets the crap beat out of him by Big Cass. Big Cass goes over looking strong. The next match was, of course, Nia Jax versus Emma. Nia Jax makes quick work out of Emma. I like Nia Jax's new move. I think it's like a standing moonsault. And when they do stuff like that, I love to see big people do small guy moves. And what I mean by that is you'll normally see a cruiserweight go to the air or a cruiserweight do something like Nia Jax did. So to see her do that, that shows me the improvement of her ring rust. And what I mean by that, the improvement of her ring rust, she's coming out of that green formality, because I still consider her green, because I think she moved up too fast from NXT. You could have told more stories with Nia Jax in NXT, especially with Asuka. But I like Nia Jax regardless. I think it's going to take some time until she really finds her stride as a wrestler. Backstage segment with Tozawa and the Titus brand. They highlight Tozawa last week on Raw and also on 205 Live, where he picked up the win from Daivari, okay, which he lost last Monday because Daivari promoted this match as a win for the Hindu gold medalist. I forget this guy's name, but he tributed that win to him. So with doing that, of course, they gave him a 50-50 booking, gave Tozawa back his win on 205 Live. Tozawa is ready for action tonight with his arm severely taped up. Titus O'Neil says it's not a good look. You're not going to be working a match tonight. We're going to find something else for you to do. Tozawa storms off of the interview segment backstage, and he starts making his way out to the ring, demanding a match. Out comes Neville. Neville tells him, this is basically what I was trying to tell you. You do all this stuff for the fans. You're hurting. You're fucked up. And then you still want a match to prove to these people that you're worth it. You're worth being here. And again, I have no quarrels with Tozawa. I think Tozawa could be used differently. Definitely differently. But I like what they're doing with him. I like that they're building him from nothing. They're building him from nothing. Literally, I didn't even know Tozawa could speak English until probably 2-3 weeks ago. So I like what they're doing. They're letting him get the mic. They're letting him showcase his skills. Tozawa ends up attacking Neville after Neville talks all his trash. Out comes Daivari. He attacks both them guys and stands tall at the end of this segment. Eventually, me personally, I think this is going into a 3-way match. If not, I wouldn't mind seeing these two guys battle it out to face Neville for the number 1 contendership, and that would be Daivari and Tozawa. That gives us another backstage segment with Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan is pretty much ready for his match. Make a notable mention, I'm tired of them highlighting some freaking Kurt Angle being his dad. I know they just for realed it last week, but it feels as though up until this point on Raw, all the backstage segments was about Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I think it's a waste of a segment where you can be getting over other superstars, but you're trying to put over Jason Jordan fast and quick. Who better to put him with than Kurt Angle? Kurt Angle being the GM, you already can see what type of angle they're playing here. They're trying to give Kurt Angle heat for giving favoritism to Jason Jordan. And that part I do understand. Backstage segment with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins trying to game plan with Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose doesn't really want Seth Rollins' help, but he doesn't really deny it either. Like, as their match went on later that night, I'll explain what I mean by that. The fourth match of the night, Bayley versus Sasha for the number 1 contendership for Alexa Bliss title. Alexa Bliss was on commentary. Of course, I give this match a great match. I like Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. I would have did this ending a little different. But Bayley, of course, picks up the win after Nia Jax goes at the Sasha Banks, After Sasha Banks goes for the frog splash, Bayley goes into a quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. Bayley gets the win. That takes us into the next match, which was Jason Jordan versus Kurt Hawkins. Yes, Jason Jordan versus Kurt Hawkins. I like this match. I think Jason Jordan looked pretty dominant the whole match. I would change his move, even give him Kurt Angle's